King Saul was the first king of Israel. Saul was afraid and hid when God tried to make him a king.
Oh, God, how can you entrust me to such a great task? I'm from the smallest and the least tribe of Israel.
God made Saul the head of all the tribes of Israel when he considered himself small. However, after Saul became king, he didn't absolutely carry out God's words to annihilate the Philistines.
I am grieved that I have made Saul king, because he has turned away from me and has not carried out my instructions.
On the other hand, contrary to King Saul, who didn't listen to God's commands, King David absolutely relied on God and followed God's word as it was given. God complimented David, saying that he is a man after my own heart. Even the people of Israel complimented David more than Saul.
Did you hear the news of war? Our David was far more courageous than King Saul.
Doesn't David win 100 of 100 wars since God is always with him?
You're right. God complimented David that he is a man after my own heart. But King Saul?
Saul started feeling disappointed hearing the words of the people. It's because he was the one appointed as king by God, being anointed with oil. But David, who was just a servant, is receiving greater love than him. One by one, these kinds of disappointing thoughts were piling up in Saul's heart. At last, he tried to kill David, who was loved by God and his people due to jealousy and envy. As a result, King Saul was abandoned by God and received a miserable end. By looking at the history of King Saul, how are we doing who are walking the path of faith? Sometimes, are we feeling disappointed towards our brothers and sisters who are walking the path of faith together with us? Let's examine ourselves to see if we have the thought that we are higher than them when we feel disappointed towards a brother or sister. We will not have a disappointed heart if we consider ourselves lower.